Hello friends, this method explains the third technique of amortized analysis, that is potential method. The first two techniques, aggregate analysis and accounting analysis, they are different from potential analysis. Aggregate analysis calculates the average, accounting analysis calculates the balance for a particular transaction. But potential analysis is different from both of these. Potential analysis believes in identifying capability of a particular transaction on the basis of transaction history. Let us see in depth how exactly potential method works. The idea of potential method is like a bank account. It is going to view the bank account as the potential energy of the dynamic set. That means on the basis of previous transactions, it will try to identify how much potential a particular bank account is having. And depending on that, it will approve or it will identify how much investment can be done in that particular account. So let us see what exactly framework potential method has. We'll try to understand mathematically how potential method works. Whatever discussion we will have from here onwards, that will be on the basis of the behavior of the bank account, because potential method is having the base of identification of bank account. It starts with an initial data structure, that is D0. Operation I transforms D of I minus 1 to D of I, and the cost of every operation I is C of I. Now let us try to understand the potential function. The potential function phi d of I tends to r. This is such that phi of d0 is equal to 0. That means the initial potential is always 0, and phi of di is greater than 0 for all transactions, that is I. That means every next transaction should have something more than the previous transaction. It is like a bank balance. When exactly we can say the account is credited? When the current amount is greater than the previous amount. In that case, we are saying the amount is credited. But suppose if current amount is less than the previous amount, in that case, that is debited. So this is identification of potential. Now, the amortized cost, upper bound of C of I with respect to phi, is defined like upper bound of C of I is equal to C of I plus phi of di minus phi of di minus 1. Let us try to understand what exactly this particular formula means. This is going to calculate the upper bound, that means the next calculation. C of I is the cost which is required for current transaction, and this is the difference between the current transaction and the previous transaction. So it is going to calculate the cost for the current transaction and the difference between current and the previous transaction. Depending on that, it is going to calculate the upper bound of the potential method. Let us try to understand the potential method in more depth. Like the accounting method, but think of the credit as the potential stored with the entire data structure. So thinking as a credit means how much amount of potential a particular transaction can have. Let us try to understand the basic difference between accounting method and potential method. Accounting method stores credit with specific objects, while potential method stores potential in the data structure as a whole. That means accounting method just believes in the calculation, but potential method believes on the basis of calculations how much investment should be done in a particular transaction in future. That is nothing but the potential. This is like releasing potential to pay the future operations. Consider there is a bank account, and against that bank account, bank manager has to approve a loan. In that case, on the basis of potential of the previous transactions, bank manager can decide how much potential this account is having. So this is more flexible of the remaining two techniques. Let us try to understand the potential difference. Upper bound of cost of I is equal to cost of current transaction plus difference between the current transaction and the previous transaction. This particular difference is we are calling as delta of phi of I, that is called as a potential difference. If the potential difference is greater than 0, then current upper bound is greater than the cost of current transaction. In that case, operation I stores work in the data structure for later use. That means this is like crediting the amount in your bank account. If delta of I, if delta of phi of I is greater than 0, that means you are crediting something, that means you are adding something. In that case, it is going to store. But suppose if delta of phi of I is less than 0, in that case, the upper bound of this cost is less than C of I, that is the cost of current transaction. In that case, it is going to deliver up stored work. That means it is going to debit the content. The logic behind potential method is straightforward. If we are understanding the banking transactions, we can easily understand the potential method. Let us try to understand the amortized cost of n operations. In previous slide, we tried to understand the amortized cost for one transaction, but here let us try to understand how we can sum up all the transactions. How exactly bank concludes about the future of your account, or whenever the loan is getting approved, at that time how exactly they calculate the potential. So the total amortized cost of n operations is summation of I is equal to 1 to n upper bound of cost of I is equal to summation of I is equal to 1 to n and this complete remaining potential cost. So this summing up both the sides telescopically, this will give like summation of I is equal to 1 to n cost of I plus phi of dn. Dn is number of transactions minus phi of d is 0. That means how much difference is there between 0th transaction and nth transaction. That will identify the amortized cost of n operations. So if this is greater than equal to the current cost, that means the account is there in the benefit. Let us try to understand the stack example which we have considered in previous both techniques, how exactly it works in potential method. As we have seen, there are three operations on stack. The first one is push, second one is pop, and the third one is multi-pop. Let us try to understand how potential method works for push transaction. The cost of operation is 1. That means cost for push is 1. And it is going to identify phi of di minus phi of di minus 1. That means whenever we are going to push, at that time, it is going to take j transaction minus j minus 1 transaction, because whenever we are pushing something on the stack, we are pushing it onto the top of the stack. So this particular is having cost. This is having j transaction is having cost 2 and j minus 1 is having 1. So 2 minus 1 is 1. And this 1 plus 1 gives summarized cost as 2. Now you might be thinking why exactly the cost of j has become 2. It is because from the current transaction, the next or the second value we are pushing. If you are remembering, whenever we have seen the accounting method as well as aggregate analysis, the overall cost for push, it has been charged as 2. So the cost of current operation is 1 plus the summarized cost of completing the push operation is 2 minus 1, that is 1. So this 1 plus this 1, that becomes 2. So this is about the push operation. Now let us see how exactly pop operation works. C of I is the cost of the ith operation. So this is equal to, this is phi of d of I is j minus 1. Whenever we are going to pop up, at that time we are going one step below. So that is j minus 1 minus j, the cost which was there for the previous one. So j minus 1 is having potential 0 and j is having potential 1. So 0 minus 1, it becomes minus 1. So this 1 minus 1 will become 0. So this is about the potential cost of pop operation. The potential of push operation and pop operation are having values 2 and 0. Now let us come to multi-pop operation. In case of multi-pop operations, we are performing pop operation on multiple values. In that case, kth transaction is having value k, that is, consider there is a multi-pop operation with value 4, and if you are applying it on a stack which is having 7 values, so it has to pop 4 times, so the value of k will become 4. If value of k is more, value of j also will become more, because 4 times we are going below, and the value of j also will vary accordingly. So here if it is 4, the cumulative cost of these two will become minus 4. So in this case, the overall value will become 0. So this is all about the stack example in potential method. Similarly, we can apply the same concept on binary counter example with respect to potential method. So this is all about the amortized analysis of potential method. Thank you.